Hello to all fans of Naruto Lemon. I will post all Naruto Lemon Yaoi, Yuri, or Naruko Lemon stories only on the Boosty channel because Uncle YouTube condemns this. Therefore, I invite everyone who wants Naruto Lemon content to my Boosty channel. Good luck.
お前はどこまで見えている。俺の死に様か。
Chapter 1, An Icy Start. The Hidden Leaf Village basked under the early morning sun, the air crisp and fresh, with the promise of a new day. The academy grounds buzzed with excitement and chatter as students gathered for the start of the new term. Among them, Naruko Uzumaki stood out, not just because of her vibrant orange jacket and sunny demeanor, but also because of the icy aura that seemed to follow her. Naruko had always been different. Ever since she was a child, she had possessed a unique ability to manipulate ice. It had earned her many stares and whispers, but she never let it bother her. She was determined to prove herself, to become a strong ninja, and gain the recognition she deserved. And maybe, just maybe, win the heart of a certain dark-haired boy. "Naruko, you're going to be late." Iruka-sensei's voice called out, snapping her out of her thoughts. "Coming, Iruka-sensei." Naruko replied, her breath forming a small cloud of frost as she ran towards the academy building. As she entered the classroom, the usual mix of curiosity and awe greeted her. She was used to it by now, but today, there was an extra spark in her eyes. Today was the day she would finally get to impress Sasuke Uchiha. Sasuke sat at the back of the class, his cool, aloof demeanor making him the object of many a girl's affection. Naruko wasn't immune to his charms, but her feelings went deeper than a simple crush. She admired his strength, his determination, and she was resolved to make him notice her. The day started with the usual lessons, but Naruko's mind kept drifting to her plans to catch Sasuke's attention. When the lunch bell rang, she hurriedly packed her things and made her way to the training grounds. She found a quiet spot and began practicing her ice techniques. She created intricate ice sculptures, delicate snowflakes, and even an ice dragon that soared majestically before melting into the air. She was so engrossed in her training that she didn't notice a pair of dark eyes watching her from a distance. Sasuke had been on his way to his usual training spot when he saw Naruko. He paused, intrigued by the display of her abilities. He had always known she was different, but seeing her control the ice with such grace and precision was something else entirely. Naruko, oblivious to her audience, decided to try something new. She focused her chakra, feeling the cold energy flow through her. She imagined herself surrounded by a blizzard, with snow and ice swirling around her. Slowly, she lifted her hands, and the temperature around her dropped. Frost formed on the grass, and a light snowfall began. "Wow, this is amazing," she thought, smiling to herself. But her concentration wavered for just a moment, and the snowfall turned into a mini snowstorm. Before she could regain control, the storm spiraled out of her grasp, heading straight for Sasuke. "Look out," she shouted, but it was too late. The icy blast hit Sasuke, knocking him off his feet and covering him in a layer of snow. Naruko rushed over, her heart pounding. "Sasuke, I'm so sorry. Are you okay?" Sasuke brushed the snow off himself, his expression a mix of annoyance and surprise. "What are you doing, Naruko?" "I was just practicing," she said sheepishly, helping him up. "I didn't mean to hit you with that." Sasuke stood up, shaking the remaining snow from his clothes. "You need to be more careful. You could have seriously hurt someone." Naruko's shoulders drooped. "I know. I just wanted to get better so I could impress you." Sasuke blinked, taken aback by her honesty. "Impress me?" "Yeah," she said, her cheeks turning a faint shade of pink. "I wanted to show you that I'm not just some clumsy girl. I can be strong too." Sasuke's expression softened, just a bit. "You have potential, Naruko. But you need to learn to control your powers better." Naruko's eyes lit up. "You think I have potential?" Sasuke nodded. "Yeah. But you have a long way to go." Naruko beamed. "I'll work harder, I promise." As they returned to the academy, Naruko couldn't help but feel a surge of hope. She had finally caught Sasuke's attention, and even though things hadn't gone exactly as planned, it was a start. She was determined to keep improving, to show Sasuke and everyone else that she was more than capable. The rest of the day passed in a blur, with Naruko's mind buzzing with excitement. She practiced her ice techniques every chance she got, careful not to lose control again. And though she still had a lot to learn, she felt more confident than ever. As the sun set and the students began to leave, Naruko stayed behind for a bit longer. She created a small ice sculpture of a phoenix, a symbol of rebirth and transformation. She placed it on her desk, a reminder of her promise to herself. "I'll become stronger," she whispered, "and I'll make you proud, Sasuke." With that, she gathered her things and headed home, the icy aura around her shimmering in the fading light. This was just the beginning of her journey, and she was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. Chapter 2: Training with Kakashi. Naruko's determination to improve her ice techniques had not gone unnoticed. Her mishap with the mini snowstorm and Sasuke had drawn the attention of many, including her team leader, Kakashi Hatake. Known for his laid-back demeanor and mysterious personality, Kakashi was a seasoned ninja with a keen eye for talent. He saw potential in Naruko that went beyond her raw abilities and decided to take a more active role in her training. It was early morning, and the village was still wrapped in a blanket of dawn when Naruko received a message from Kakashi. It was a simple note, asking her to meet him at Training Ground 3. Excitement bubbled up inside her as she quickly got ready and dashed out the door. The training ground was a familiar place, with its wide-open spaces and tall trees. As she arrived, she spotted Kakashi leaning against one of the training posts, his nose buried in his ever-present book, Make Out Paradise. "Kakashi-sensei," she called out, waving energetically. "I'm here." Kakashi looked up from his book, his visible eye crinkling in a smile. "Good morning, Naruko. You're early." "Of course. I want to get stronger," she said, her eyes shining with determination. Kakashi nodded, closing his book and tucking it away. "That's the spirit. Let's see what you can do." Naruko eagerly demonstrated her ice techniques, creating intricate patterns and small sculptures. Kakashi watched intently, analyzing her control and finesse. When she finished, she looked at him expectantly. "Not bad," Kakashi said, stroking his chin thoughtfully. "But your control needs work. Ice is a powerful element, but it's also very precise. You need to learn to channel your chakra more efficiently." Naruko nodded vigorously. "I'll do whatever it takes, Kakashi-sensei." "All right then," Kakashi said, his tone serious. "We'll start with some basic chakra control exercises. These might seem simple, but they're essential for mastering your ice techniques." For the next few hours, Kakashi guided Naruko through various exercises designed to improve her chakra control. She balanced leaves on her forehead, walked on water, and climbed trees using only her chakra. Each exercise tested her focus and precision, and though it was challenging, Naruko embraced the struggle with determination. "Remember, Naruko," Kakashi said as she practiced tree climbing, "your ice techniques are an extension of your chakra. The more control you have over your chakra, the more precise and powerful your techniques will be." Naruko panted with exertion but nodded, her grip on the tree trunk tightening. "I understand, Kakashi-sensei." As the sun climbed higher in the sky, Kakashi introduced more advanced training. He had Naruko create ice constructs while maintaining perfect chakra control. She formed ice walls, shields, and even tried her hand at creating an ice clone, a task that required immense concentration. "Don't rush it," Kakashi advised as Naruko struggled to maintain the clone's form. "Focus on the flow of your chakra. Let it guide the ice." Naruko took a deep breath, closing her eyes and concentrating. She visualized the clone in her mind, channeling her chakra smoothly and steadily. Slowly, an ice clone took shape beside her, its form solid and clear. "I did it," she exclaimed, grinning widely. Kakashi gave her an approving nod. "Well done. Keep practicing," and it will become second nature. The morning turned into afternoon, and Naruko's training continued. Kakashi challenged her with mock battles, testing her ability to use her ice techniques in combat. Naruko found herself on the defensive more often than not, but she learned quickly, adapting to Kakashi's unpredictable attacks. Use your surroundings, Kakashi instructed during one of their sparring sessions. Ice can be both an offensive and defensive tool. Naruko nodded, her mind racing. She created ice spikes from the ground, forming a barrier between herself and Kakashi. She then used the ice to launch herself into the air, gaining a strategic vantage point. Good thinking, Kakashi called out, dodging the spikes effortlessly. But don't forget to anticipate your opponent's moves. Naruko landed gracefully, her breath coming in heavy pants. You're right, Kakashi-sensei. I'll keep that in mind. As the sun began to set, Kakashi called for a break. They sat under a tree, enjoying the cool evening breeze. Naruko was exhausted but exhilarated. She felt a newfound confidence in her abilities and a deeper understanding of her ice techniques. You've made good progress today, Naruko, Kakashi said, handing her a canteen of water. But remember, this is just the beginning. Mastery takes time and patience. Naruko nodded, taking a grateful sip of water. Thank you, Kakashi-sensei. I'll keep working hard. Kakashi smiled, his eye crinkling again. I know you will. And I'll be here to help you every step of the way. The next few days followed a similar pattern. Naruko trained diligently with Kakashi, honing her skills and improving her control. Each day brought new challenges and opportunities for growth. Naruko found herself becoming more confident and capable, and she couldn't wait to show Sasuke her progress. One morning, as Naruko was practicing her ice techniques, she noticed Sasuke watching from a distance. Her heart skipped a beat, and she redoubled her efforts, creating an intricate ice sculpture of a phoenix rising from the ashes. Sasuke approached, his expression unreadable. You're getting better, Naruko. Naruko beamed, her cheeks flushing slightly. Thanks, Sasuke. I've been training hard with Kakashi-sensei. Sasuke nodded, his gaze lingering on the ice phoenix. It's impressive. But remember, strength isn't just about techniques. It's also about strategy and determination. Naruko's eyes sparkled with admiration. I know. I'm working on that too. Sasuke's lips curled into a faint smile. Good. Keep it up. As he walked away, Naruko felt a surge of motivation. She was determined to become stronger, not just for herself, but also to earn Sasuke's respect. Her training with Kakashi continued, each session pushing her limits and expanding her abilities. One evening, Kakashi introduced a new challenge. Today, we'll work on combining your ice techniques with your other ninja skills. You'll need to be versatile in battle. Naruko nodded, eager to take on the challenge. Kakashi set up a series of targets around the training ground, each representing different scenarios she might encounter in combat. Use your ice techniques to immobilize the targets, then follow up with taijutsu or ninjutsu, Kakashi instructed. The key is to be fluid and adaptable. Naruko took a deep breath, her mind focused. She created an ice wall to shield herself from incoming projectiles, then launched herself into the air using an ice platform. She threw shuriken at the targets, following up with a series of swift taijutsu strikes. Kakashi watched with a keen eye, noting her progress. Good. Now try combining your ice with a fire jutsu. Naruko hesitated. Fire and ice were opposing elements, and she wasn't sure how to merge them effectively. But she trusted Kakashi's guidance and decided to give it a try. She formed a series of hand signs, channeling her chakra into both elements. A small flame appeared in her hand, flickering alongside a shard of ice. She concentrated, merging the two energies into a swirling vortex of fire and ice. Release, she shouted, directing the combined attack at the targets. The resulting explosion was both beautiful and destructive, freezing and burning the targets simultaneously. Kakashi's eye widened in surprise. Impressive, Naruko. That was a difficult technique, and you pulled it off beautifully. Naruko grinned, exhilarated by her success. Thank you, Kakashi-sensei. I'll keep practicing until I can do it perfectly every time. As the days turned into weeks, Naruko's training continued to intensify. She practiced tirelessly, often staying late into the night to perfect her techniques. Her bond with Kakashi grew stronger, and she felt a deep sense of gratitude for his guidance and support. One evening, after an especially grueling training session, Kakashi sat down with Naruko, his expression serious. Naruko, there's something important I need to tell you. Naruko's heart skipped a beat. What is it, Kakashi-sensei? Kakashi's gaze softened. You've come a long way, and I'm proud of your progress. But there's more to being a ninja than just strength and technique. It's about understanding yourself and your place in the world. Naruko listened intently, her eyes wide with curiosity. Your ice abilities are unique, and they set you apart, Kakashi continued. But they also come with responsibilities. You need to understand the balance between power and control. Use your abilities wisely, and never lose sight of who you are. Naruko nodded, absorbing his words. I understand, Kakashi-sensei. I'll do my best to honor my abilities and use them for good. Kakashi smiled, his eye crinkling. I know you will, Naruko. And remember, you're never alone. Your friends and teammates are here to support you. As the weeks passed, Naruko's training with Kakashi continued to yield impressive results. She became more confident in her abilities, her control over her ice techniques becoming second nature. Her bond with her teammates also grew stronger, especially with Sasuke. One day, Kakashi announced a special training exercise. We're going to have a mock battle, with you and Sasuke teaming up against me. This will test your ability to work together and combine your strengths. Naruko's heart raced with excitement. She glanced at Sasuke, who gave her a confident nod. They were ready for this challenge. The battle began, and Kakashi moved with lightning speed, testing their reflexes and coordination. Naruko and Sasuke worked in sync, combining their techniques to counter Kakashi's attacks. Naruko created ice barriers and launched ice projectiles, while Sasuke used his fire jutsu to keep Kakashi on the defensive. Good teamwork, Kakashi called out, dodging their attacks. But you'll need to do better than that to defeat me. Naruko and Sasuke exchanged a determined glance. They knew they had to step up their game. Naruko summoned her ice clone, while Sasuke activated his Sharingan, analyzing Kakashi's movements. Now! Naruko shouted, and they launched their combined attack. Naruko's ice clone created a diversion, while she and Sasuke coordinated a powerful fire and ice jutsu. The resulting explosion caught Kakashi off guard, forcing him to retreat. Impressive, Kakashi said, his voice filled with genuine admiration. You've both come a long way. Naruko beamed with pride. She had worked hard for this moment, and it felt incredible to see their efforts paying off. The mock battle ended, and Kakashi gathered them together. You've both shown great improvement, he said, his tone serious. But remember, the real challenges lie ahead. Stay focused, keep training, and support each other. Together, you can achieve great things. Naruko and Sasuke nodded, their determination renewed. They had proven their strength and teamwork, but they knew there was still much to learn. As the sun set over the training ground, Naruko felt a deep sense of gratitude for Kakashi's guidance and the bond she had formed with her teammates. She was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, confident in her abilities and the support of her friends. The next day, Naruko continued her training with renewed vigor. She practiced her ice techniques tirelessly, honing her control and precision. She also focused on improving her taijutsu and ninjutsu, determined to become a well-rounded ninja. Kakashi introduced more advanced training exercises, pushing Naruko to her limits. She faced off against multiple opponents, used her ice abilities in new and creative ways, and practiced combining her techniques with her teammates. One evening, after a particularly grueling training session, Kakashi approached Naruko with a thoughtful expression. Naruko, there's something I want to teach you. It's a technique that requires perfect control and a deep understanding of your ice abilities. Naruko's eyes widened with excitement. What is it, Kakashi-sensei? Kakashi smiled. It's called the Ice Dragon Jutsu. It's a powerful technique that allows you to create a massive dragon made of ice. But it requires a high level of chakra control and concentration. Naruko's heart raced with anticipation. She had seen Kakashi use the technique before, and it was awe-inspiring. She was determined to learn it and master it. For the next few weeks, Naruko focused on learning the Ice Dragon Jutsu. Kakashi guided her through the intricate hand signs and chakra control required to summon the dragon. It was challenging, but Naruko embraced the difficulty with determination. Each day, she practiced the technique, gradually improving her control and precision. She visualized the dragon in her mind, channeling her chakra smoothly and steadily. Slowly but surely, she began to see progress. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Naruko stood in the training ground, her mind focused and her heart filled with determination. She formed the hand signs, channeling her chakra into the technique. Ice Dragon Jutsu, she shouted, releasing her chakra. A massive dragon made of ice erupted from the ground, its form majestic and powerful. It soared into the sky, shimmering in the fading light. Naruko's eyes widened with awe and pride. She had done it. She had mastered the Ice Dragon Jutsu. Kakashi watched with a proud smile. Well done, Naruko. You've truly mastered the technique. Naruko beamed, her heart swelling with pride. Thank you, Kakashi-sensei. I couldn't have done it without your guidance. Kakashi's eye crinkled in a smile. You've worked hard, Naruko. You've earned this. As the dragon dissipated into the air, Naruko felt a deep sense of accomplishment. She had come a long way since she first started training with Kakashi. She was stronger, more confident, and more determined than ever. The next day, Naruko couldn't wait to show Sasuke her new technique. She found him training in the usual spot and approached with a bright smile. Sasuke, I have something to show you, she called out, her excitement palpable. Sasuke turned, his expression curious. What is it, Naruko? Naruko took a deep breath, her heart racing. She formed the hand signs and channeled her chakra, summoning the ice dragon. The massive dragon erupted from the ground, soaring into the sky with a majestic roar. Sasuke's eyes widened in surprise and admiration. That's incredible, Naruko. Naruko beamed with pride. I've been training hard with Kakashi-sensei. I wanted to show you my progress. Sasuke nodded, his expression softening. You've improved a lot, Naruko. Keep it up. Naruko's heart swelled with joy. She had earned Sasuke's respect, and it felt incredible. She was more determined than ever to continue her training and become even stronger. As the days turned into weeks, Naruko's bond with her teammates grew stronger. They faced new challenges together, supporting each other and pushing their limits. Naruko felt a deep sense of belonging and pride in their accomplishments. One evening, after a particularly challenging mission, the team gathered around a campfire, sharing stories and laughter. Naruko felt a warmth in her heart, knowing she was part of something special. Sasuke, Kakashi-sensei, she said, her voice filled with gratitude. Thank you for everything. I couldn't have come this far without your support. Kakashi smiled, his eye crinkling. You've worked hard, Naruko. You've earned every bit of your success. Sasuke nodded, his expression sincere. You're a valuable member of our team, Naruko. We're proud of you. Naruko's eyes sparkled with tears of happiness. She had found her place, her purpose, and her strength. She was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, confident in her abilities and the support of her friends. As the night sky filled with stars, Naruko felt a deep sense of peace and determination. She knew her journey was far from over, but she was ready for whatever the future held. With her friends by her side and her heart filled with hope, she was unstoppable. The next day, Naruko woke up with a renewed sense of purpose. She continued her training with Kakashi, pushing her limits and exploring new techniques. She also spent time with her teammates, strengthening their bond and learning from each other. One afternoon, Kakashi gathered the team together for a special announcement. "I've received a new mission for us. It's going to be challenging, but I believe we're ready for it." Naruko's eyes sparkled with excitement. "What kind of mission, Kakashi-sensei?" Kakashi's expression was serious. "We'll be escorting a diplomat from the land of snow to the Hidden Leaf Village. There have been reports of enemy ninja targeting him, so we need to be prepared for anything." Naruko's heart raced with anticipation. She was ready to prove herself and protect their mission. She glanced at Sasuke, who gave her a determined nod. The next morning, the team set out on their mission. They traveled through rugged terrain, always alert for any signs of danger. Naruko's senses were heightened, her ice abilities ready to be deployed at a moment's notice. As they neared their destination, they encountered a group of enemy ninja. The battle was intense, but Naruko and her teammates fought with precision and determination. Naruko used her ice techniques to create barriers and launch attacks, while Sasuke and Kakashi countered with their own powerful jutsu. "Stay focused, everyone," Kakashi called out, his voice steady amidst the chaos. Naruko felt a surge of adrenaline as she faced off against one of the enemy ninja. She summoned her ice clone and launched a combined attack, overwhelming her opponent with a flurry of ice and taijutsu. "We can do this," she shouted, her voice filled with determination. The team fought with everything they had, their coordination and teamwork shining through. They managed to fend off the enemy ninja and protect the diplomat, ensuring his safe passage to the Hidden Leaf Village. As they reached their destination, Naruko felt a deep sense of pride and accomplishment. They had completed their mission successfully, and she had proven herself in battle. Kakashi turned to the team, his expression filled with pride. "Well done, everyone. We've successfully completed our mission. I'm proud of each and every one of you." Naruko beamed with joy, her heart swelling with pride. She had come a long way since she first started training with Kakashi, and she was more determined than ever to continue growing and improving. As they returned to the village, Naruko couldn't help but feel a deep sense of gratitude for her teammates and her sensei. They had supported her, believed in her, and helped her become the strong ninja she was today. The journey was far from over, but Naruko knew that with her friends by her side and her heart filled with determination, she could face any challenge that came her way. She was ready for whatever the future held, confident in her abilities and the strength of her bond with her team. The next few days were filled with celebration and reflection. Naruko spent time with her friends, sharing stories and laughter. She also continued her training, always striving to improve and grow stronger. One evening, as the sun set over the village, Naruko stood on a hill, gazing at the horizon. She felt a deep sense of peace and determination, knowing that her journey was just beginning. With a smile on her face and her heart filled with hope, Naruko looked forward to the future, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. She was stronger, wiser, and more determined than ever, and she knew that with her friends by her side, there was nothing she couldn't achieve. Chapter 3, Mission with Sasuke. After weeks of intense training with Kakashi-sensei, Team 7 was finally assigned their first official mission together. This was a significant milestone for Naruko, a chance to prove herself not just as a skilled ninja but as a valuable member of the team. The mission was simple yet crucial: escort a shipment of valuable scrolls from a neighboring village back to Konoha. Although it seemed straightforward, Kakashi warned them that there had been reports of bandits in the area, making the assignment potentially dangerous. Naruko felt a mix of excitement and nerves as she prepared for the mission. She checked her gear, making sure her kunai were sharp and her scrolls were securely strapped to her belt. Next to her, Sasuke was silently preparing, his usual stoic demeanor concealing the anticipation she knew he was feeling. Kakashi gathered them at the village gate just as dawn broke over the horizon. His eyes scanned the team, his expression serious yet encouraging. Alright, team, Kakashi began, his voice calm yet commanding. Our mission is to escort these scrolls safely back to Konoha. Stay vigilant and watch each other's backs. We're counting on each of you. Naruko nodded eagerly, her determination evident. We're ready, Kakashi-sensei. Sasuke gave a small nod, his eyes already scanning their surroundings for potential threats. The journey started smoothly, with the morning sun casting a warm glow over the landscape. They traveled along narrow paths through dense forests and open fields, remaining alert for any signs of trouble. As they approached a wooded area, Kakashi signaled for them to halt. We're getting close to where the bandit activity has been reported. Be on your guard and be prepared for anything. Naruko's heart raced with excitement. She gripped her kunai, her eyes searching the shadows for any sign of movement. Beside her, Sasuke moved with silent grace, his Sharingan activated to enhance his perception. Suddenly, rustling sounds came from the bushes ahead. Naruko tensed, ready for an attack. Out from the foliage emerged a group of masked figures, their weapons gleaming in the sunlight. Bandits! Kakashi shouted, his voice sharp and commanding. Defend the scrolls! Naruko sprang into action, launching ice projectiles at the nearest bandits. Her aim was precise, the shards of ice striking their targets with deadly accuracy. She quickly erected barriers of ice to shield her teammates, using her abilities for both offense and defense. Beside her, Sasuke moved with fluid grace, his fire jutsu blazing through the air. Flames licked at their enemies, forcing them to retreat or face the consequences. Kakashi engaged the bandits with his own deadly efficiency, his movements swift and lethal. The battle was fierce and chaotic, the clash of metal and the crackle of jutsu filling the air. Naruko fought with determination, her heart pounding with adrenaline. She focused on protecting the scrolls, understanding how crucial their safe delivery was to the mission's success. Amidst the fight, Naruko found herself facing a particularly formidable opponent. This bandit was heavily armored and wielded a massive club. As the bandit swung at her, Naruko quickly formed an ice barrier to deflect the blow. She countered with a series of sharp, freezing attacks, but the bandit was relentless, his attacks coming faster and stronger. Sasuke, she called out, hoping he could assist. Sasuke glanced over, his eyes narrowing as he saw Naruko struggling. With a quick hand sign, he unleashed a powerful fireball jutsu, scorching the bandit and giving Naruko the opening she needed. Naruko took advantage of the distraction, launching a barrage of ice shards that finally brought the enemy down. With the bandit defeated, Naruko turned back to see Kakashi finishing off the last of the attackers. The remaining bandits had been driven off, retreating into the forest. Good job, everyone, Kakashi said as he surveyed the battlefield. You handled the situation well. The village will be pleased with our success. Naruko felt a swell of pride. They had faced a real threat and emerged victorious. She glanced at Sasuke, who met her gaze with a subtle nod. We make a good team, Sasuke said, his voice low but sincere. Naruko's face lit up with a smile. Yeah, we do. With the bandits defeated and the scrolls secured, they resumed their journey back to Konoha. The rest of the trip passed without incident, though Naruko remained on high alert, her senses tuned to any potential dangers. When they arrived at the village gates, Kakashi gathered them once more. Our mission is complete, Kakashi said, his voice filled with pride. Well done, team. Naruko's heart swelled with satisfaction. They had accomplished their task successfully, and the recognition from Kakashi only added to her sense of achievement. She couldn't wait to report their success to the Hokage and to find out what their next assignment would be. That evening, as the sun set over Konoha, Team 7 gathered at Ichiraka Ramen for a well-deserved meal. The warm atmosphere of the ramen shop was a welcome contrast to the tension of the mission. This mission was tougher than it seemed at first, Naruko said, sipping from her bowl of ramen. But we managed to get through it together. Sasuke looked up from his own bowl, his expression thoughtful. Yeah, it was challenging. But we got through it, and we're better for it. Kakashi sat across from them, a rare smile visible in his eyes. Excellent work, everyone. You've shown that you can handle difficult situations and work as a team. Naruko felt a deep sense of pride. They had faced real danger and succeeded, proving their worth as ninjas and as a team. She looked at Sasuke, who met her gaze with a nod of appreciation. It's been great working together, Naruko said. I'm looking forward to our next mission. Sasuke's eyes were serious, but there was a hint of warmth. Me too. As the days went by, Naruko continued to train, honing her ice techniques and striving to improve her skills. She spent time reflecting on the mission and planning for the future. One day, Kakashi gathered them for a special training session. Today, Kakashi began, I want to introduce you to a new technique that will require both skill and concentration. This technique is called the Ice Dragon Jutsu. It's a powerful ability that allows you to create a massive dragon made of ice. Naruko's eyes widened with excitement. I've seen this technique before, Kakashi-sensei, and it looks incredible. I'm eager to learn it. Kakashi nodded, clearly pleased with her enthusiasm. This technique not only requires precise chakra control, but also a deep understanding of your abilities. I will guide you through each step. From that moment on, Naruko threw herself into mastering the Ice Dragon Jutsu. Every day she practiced, refining the intricate hand seals and focusing her chakra with increasing precision. There were many challenges along the way, but she remained determined. She visualized the dragon in her mind, imagining it rising from the ground and spreading its mighty wings. Through weeks of diligent practice, Naruko made significant progress. One evening, as the sun began to set, Naruko stood on the training field, her mind focused and her heart steady. She performed the necessary hand seals and channeled her chakra. Ice Dragon Jutsu, she shouted, releasing her chakra. From the ground emerged a magnificent ice dragon, its form grand and imposing. It soared into the sky, sparkling in the fading light. Naruko gazed at her creation with pride, her heart swelling with joy at her success. Kakashi observed from a distance, his eyes filled with approval. Excellent work, Naruko. You've truly mastered this technique. Naruko beamed at him, her excitement evident. Thank you, Kakashi-sensei. I couldn't have done it without your guidance. Kakashi smiled, his pride apparent. You worked hard, Naruko. You deserve this success. In the following days, Naruko continued to refine her skills, aiming for perfection in her techniques. She also focused on strengthening her bonds with her team, working to deepen her connection with Sasuke and demonstrate her value as a partner. She often talked with Sasuke, trying to learn more about his past and his dreams. His silence sometimes left her unsure, but she kept making efforts to be his friend. One evening, after training, Naruko mustered up the courage to approach Sasuke. Sasuke, there's something I'd like to give you, she said, her voice trembling with nervousness. Sasuke looked at her with curiosity. What is it? Naruko took out a small ice sculpture she had made. It was a miniature dragon, intricately detailed. This is a symbol of our teamwork, she said, offering the sculpture. I hope you like it. Sasuke took the sculpture, examining it with a gentle gaze. It's beautiful, Naruko. Thank you. Naruko's heart soared with happiness. I'm glad you like it. Sasuke nodded, and there was a hint of warmth in his eyes. It was the first sign of his deeper feelings, and Naruko felt their bond growing stronger. As time went on, their relationship deepened. They began to spend more time together, their connection growing with each shared experience. Every day brought new joys and challenges, but Naruko was ready for them. One day, after a particularly difficult mission, Naruko felt it was time to take the next step in her relationship with Sasuke. They sat together in the park, enjoying the calm evening after a long day. Naruko took a deep breath, ready to express her feelings. Sasuke, there's something I need to tell you, she said, her voice trembling with emotion. Sasuke looked at her, his expression attentive. What is it, Naruko? Naruko gathered her courage, her heart pounding. I've been wanting to tell you for a long time that I'm in love with you. I know this might be surprising, but I couldn't keep it to myself anymore. Sasuke was momentarily taken aback, his eyes widening in surprise. Then he smiled gently. I appreciate your feelings, Naruko. I didn't know, but it's nice to hear. Naruko felt a wave of relief wash over her. I'm glad you're not upset. I hope that our future can be as bright as our present. Sasuke took her hand, his eyes filled with warmth. I hope so too. Let's move forward together. These words marked the beginning of a new chapter in their relationship. They began to date and spent more time together, their bond growing ever stronger. Every day brought new joys and challenges, but Naruko was confident in their future. She believed that together with Sasuke, they could overcome any obstacles that came their way. Chapter 4, The Icy Chunin Exam. The sun rose over Konoha, casting a warm glow over the village as it prepared for one of the most anticipated events of the year, the Chunin exam. The atmosphere was electric with excitement, as ninjas from various villages gathered to test their skills and advance in rank. Naruko stood at the entrance of the academy, her heart racing with a mix of excitement and nervousness. She glanced at her teammates, who were also feeling the weight of the upcoming challenge. Are you ready for this? She asked, trying to mask her anxiety with a confident smile. Sasuke, ever composed, gave her a reassuring nod. We've trained for this. We're ready. Kakashi, their ever-cool sensei, appeared beside them, his face hidden behind his mask, but his eyes twinkling with amusement. Remember, the Chunin exam is more than just a test of skill. It's a test of teamwork, strategy, and perseverance. Naruko took a deep breath, trying to steady her nerves. Got it, Kakashi-sensei. As they entered the academy, the atmosphere inside was just as bustling as outside. Teams from all over the world gathered in the main hall, chatting excitedly and preparing for the exam. They were soon called to the exam room, where a tall, stern-looking proctor stood at the front. His presence commanded respect, and the room fell silent as he began to speak. Welcome to the Chunin exam, he said, his voice echoing through the hall. Today's test will be divided into 3 parts. The first part is a written exam. This will test your ability to think under pressure and your knowledge of various aspects of being a ninja. Naruko glanced nervously at Sasuke, who gave her a reassuring nod. We've got this, he said quietly. The proctor handed out the exam papers, and the candidates began to work on the test. Naruko focused intently on the questions, her mind racing as she tried to recall everything she had studied. Some of the questions were straightforward, while others were tricky and required careful thought. Naruko struggled with a few of the questions, but she managed to answer them all to the best of her ability. After the written exam, the candidates were led to a new room for the second part of the test, the Forest of Death. Welcome to the Forest of Death, the proctor announced as they entered the dark, dense forest. In this part of the exam, you will be required to obtain 2 of the 3 scrolls needed to pass the exam. You will start with 1 scroll and must find the remaining 2 while navigating the dangers of the forest. Naruko's heart pounded as she looked around at the ominous forest. The trees were thick and twisted, and the forest floor was covered in shadows and unknown threats. Kakashi approached them with a serious expression. This part of the exam is not just about fighting. It's about strategy, teamwork, and survival. Stick together and stay alert. Naruko, Sasuke, and Sakura each took a scroll and prepared to enter the forest. As they stepped into the darkness, the sounds of the forest surrounded them, the rustling of leaves, the chirping of unseen creatures, and the occasional distant roar of something large. They walked cautiously, their senses alert for any signs of danger. The forest was filled with traps and hidden enemies, and they needed to be constantly on guard. Stay close, Sasuke said, his eyes scanning the surroundings. We need to find a safe place to set up camp and plan our strategy. They found a small clearing where they decided to rest and regroup. Naruko sat on a fallen log, her eyes focused on the scroll she held. Let's discuss our plan, Sasuke suggested. We need to figure out how we're going to find the other 2 scrolls. Naruko nodded, her eyes shining with determination. We should split up to cover more ground. We can use my ice techniques to scout from a distance and keep us safe. Sakura looked concerned. But what if we run into trouble? We need to be careful. Naruko smiled reassuringly. Don't worry. We'll stick together unless we need to split up. We'll communicate through signals and meet back here if we need to. Sasuke nodded in agreement. That sounds like a good plan. Let's start by using Naruko's abilities to scout the area. Naruko took a deep breath and began to perform the hand signs for her ice techniques. She created a series of ice mirrors that floated in the air, allowing her to see into the forest without leaving their safe spot. As she surveyed the forest through the mirrors, she spotted several potential threats, hidden traps, lurking enemies, and dangerous terrain. I see a few potential dangers ahead, she said, her voice steady. There are some traps we need to avoid and a few enemies we might encounter. Let's move cautiously. They set out, their movements careful and deliberate as they navigated the forest. Naruko used her ice techniques to create paths over dangerous terrain and to shield them from attacks. Sasuke's Sharingan helped him detect hidden traps and enemies, while Sakura provided support with her medical jutsu. As they continued through the forest, they encountered various challenges. They fought off a group of rogue ninjas, avoided dangerous traps, and dealt with environmental hazards. One particularly intense battle occurred when they came across a team of enemies who were also searching for the scrolls. Prepare for battle! Sasuke shouted as he saw the enemy ninjas approaching. Naruko quickly formed an ice barrier to shield her team from the incoming attacks. She launched a series of ice projectiles at the enemies, her eyes focused and determined. Sasuke engaged the enemies with his fire techniques, his attacks precise and powerful. Sakura used her healing abilities to keep the team in fighting shape, her eyes sharp as she scanned the battlefield for threats. The battle was fierce, but their teamwork proved to be effective. With a combination of Naruko's ice techniques, Sasuke's fire jutsu, and Sakura's medical support, they defeated their enemies and continued their search for the scrolls. As they ventured deeper into the forest, they found a hidden cave. Inside, they discovered a scroll tucked away in a corner, just as Kakashi had predicted. We found one of the scrolls, Sasuke said, holding it up for everyone to see. Now we need to find the last one. They continued their search, their determination unwavering. The forest was filled with dangers, but they faced each challenge with courage and skill. Eventually, they came across another team of ninjas who had the scroll they needed. A tense standoff ensued as they negotiated for the scroll. We need that scroll to pass the exam, Naruko said, her voice firm. Let's find a way to work this out. The other team was hesitant, but after a few tense moments, they agreed to a trade. Naruko offered a portion of their own scroll's contents in exchange for the scroll they needed. With the trade completed, they headed back to the exam's starting point, their hearts filled with hope and anticipation. As they reached the starting point, they handed over the scrolls to the proctors. The proctors inspected the scrolls and then nodded in approval. Congratulations, the proctor said. You have passed the second part of the exam. Naruko felt a surge of relief and joy. They had made it through the forest of death and completed the task successfully. Kakashi approached them with a proud smile. You did well out there. You've shown that you're ready for the next stage of the exam. Naruko looked at Sasuke and Sakura, her heart swelling with pride. We did it together. Sasuke nodded, his eyes reflecting his own satisfaction. Yeah, we did. They left the forest and returned to the village, ready to prepare for the final part of the Chunin exam. The experience had strengthened their bond and prepared them for the challenges ahead. Chapter 5, The Forest of Death. The day had arrived for the second phase of the Chunin exam, a trial that would test the skills of the young ninjas in the treacherous terrain known as the Forest of Death. The village square buzzed with excitement and nervous energy as teams gathered for the briefing. Naruko stood with her team near the entrance to the Forest of Death, her heart pounding in her chest. Beside her, Sasuke and Sakura prepared themselves for the challenges that lay ahead. Kakashi appeared with his usual casual demeanor, his mask hiding his expression but his eyes revealing the seriousness of the situation. He handed each of them a small, sealed scroll. "Remember, your goal is to retrieve the 2 remaining scrolls needed to pass the exam," Kakashi instructed. "You'll face many dangers in the forest, so stay focused and stick together." Naruko took the scroll, her grip firm and resolute. "We understand, Kakashi-sensei." "We're ready." Sasuke and Sakura nodded in agreement. They took a deep breath as they approached the massive gates leading into the forest of death. The foreboding darkness of the forest loomed before them, filled with unseen perils. As the gates creaked open, the trio stepped into the shadowy depths of the forest. The trees were dense, their branches intertwining to form a natural canopy that blocked out the sunlight. The air was thick with the scent of earth and vegetation, and the sounds of the forest echoed around them. "We need to find a safe spot to plan our strategy," Sasuke said, his eyes scanning the forest floor for any immediate threats. "We should stay alert and keep an eye out for traps." Naruko nodded, her eyes scanning the surroundings with equal vigilance. "Let's move carefully and find a good place to regroup." They ventured deeper into the forest, their senses on high alert. Naruko used her ice techniques to clear away obstacles and create paths through the dense undergrowth. The forest was filled with hidden dangers, pit traps, snare wires, and the occasional menacing growl of wild creatures. Suddenly, Naruko froze, her eyes narrowing as she sensed something in the shadows. "I think we're not alone." Before she could react, a group of bandits emerged from the underbrush, their eyes gleaming with malicious intent. They surrounded the team, their weapons drawn and ready. "Hand over your scrolls," one of the bandits demanded, his voice rough and threatening. Sasuke stepped forward, his expression calm but determined. "We're not giving up our scrolls. We'll fight to protect them." Naruko quickly formed an ice barrier around her team, creating a protective shield against the incoming attacks. She launched a series of sharp ice projectiles at the bandits, her movements swift and precise. Sasuke unleashed a volley of fire jutsu, the flames scorching the bandits and forcing them back. His eyes were focused, his attacks calculated to maximize their effectiveness. Sakura stepped in, her medical jutsu ready to heal any injuries that might arise. She watched the battle intently, her eyes sharp as she observed the unfolding fight. The battle was fierce, but their teamwork shone through. Naruko's ice techniques, Sasuke's fire jutsu, and Sakura's medical support combined to create a formidable force. The bandits were pushed back, their initial confidence giving way to fear as they realized they were outmatched. With a final burst of energy, the team defeated the bandits and forced them to retreat into the forest. They took a moment to catch their breath, their bodies weary from the fight. "That was close," Sakura said, her voice trembling slightly. "Are we okay?" Naruko nodded, her eyes scanning for any further threats. "We're fine. Let's keep moving and find the other scrolls." They continued through the forest, their pace steady but cautious. They encountered more dangers along the way, hidden traps, wild animals, and rival teams. Each challenge was met with bravery and skill, their bond as a team growing stronger with each obstacle they overcame. After hours of navigating the forest's dangers, they found a small clearing. In the center of the clearing lay a scroll, resting on a pedestal. "This must be one of the scrolls we need," Sasuke said, stepping forward to retrieve it. Naruko approached the pedestal, her eyes scanning the surroundings for any hidden traps or enemies. "Be careful. This could be a trap." As Sasuke reached for the scroll, a hidden mechanism activated, releasing a series of sharp projectiles from the surrounding trees. Naruko quickly used her ice techniques to create a protective barrier, shielding her teammates from the attack. "Watch out," she shouted, her eyes alert as she deflected the projectiles with her ice barriers. Sasuke grabbed the scroll and stepped back, his eyes scanning the area for any additional threats. "We have the scroll. Let's move before more enemies show up." They left the clearing and continued their search, their spirits lifted by their success. The forest seemed to grow darker as night approached, the shadows deepening around them. They found a secluded spot to rest for the night, setting up a temporary camp. Naruko built a small fire to ward off the chill, and the team sat together, sharing a simple meal. "This is tougher than I expected," Sakura said, her voice tired but determined. "But we're getting through it." Naruko nodded, her eyes reflecting the fire's warm glow. "We've faced a lot of challenges already, but we're handling them well." Sasuke looked at Naruko, a hint of warmth in his eyes. "You've been doing great out there, Naruko. Your ice techniques have been really useful." Naruko's face flushed with a mix of pride and embarrassment. "Thanks, Sasuke. I've been working hard on them." Sasuke gave her a small, encouraging smile. "It shows. Keep it up." They spent the rest of the evening discussing their strategy for the next day. They planned to search for the remaining scroll, keeping their eyes open for any signs of danger. As the night wore on, they took turns keeping watch, their senses sharp as they listened for any sounds of approaching enemies. When morning arrived, they set out once more, their resolve unshaken. The forest was dense and foreboding, but they pressed on, determined to complete their mission. After several more hours of searching, they came across another team of ninjas who had the scroll they needed. The two teams faced off, each determined to succeed. "We need that scroll," Naruko said, her voice steady. "We're not backing down." The enemy team responded with a challenge, and a fierce battle ensued. Naruko used her ice techniques to create barriers and launch attacks, while Sasuke employed his fire jutsu to drive back their opponents. Sakura provided support with her medical jutsu, healing any injuries and keeping the team in fighting shape. The battle was intense, the two teams evenly matched as they fought for the scroll. Naruko and Sasuke worked together seamlessly, their skills complementing each other as they pressed the attack. Finally, with a decisive strike, they defeated the enemy team and obtained the scroll they needed. The victory was hard-earned, but their success was a testament to their growth as ninjas. They returned to the exam's starting point, their spirits high despite the exhaustion of the day's events. They handed over the scrolls to the proctors, who inspected them and nodded in approval. "Congratulations," the proctor said. "You have passed the second part of the exam." Naruko let out a sigh of relief, her heart swelling with pride at their accomplishment. "We did it." Sasuke nodded, his eyes reflecting the same sense of satisfaction. "We did." As they left the forest of death and made their way back to the village, they knew that the final part of the exam was still ahead. But they were ready, their bond as a team stronger than ever. Chapter 6, The Icy Duel. The final day of the Chunin exam arrived with a crisp, clear sky and a chill in the air that signaled the beginning of the final challenges. The arena for the final round was set up in the heart of Konoha's village, a grand stadium surrounded by a sea of eager spectators. The atmosphere was charged with excitement and anticipation, as ninjas from all over the world gathered to witness the climactic battles of the exam. Naruko, Sasuke, and Sakura stood at the entrance of the arena, their hearts pounding with a mixture of nerves and determination. They had made it through the forest of death and were now ready to face the final stage of the exam, a series of one-on-one battles designed to test their skills and resolve. "Are you ready for this?" Sasuke asked, his eyes scanning the arena as he took in the sight of the massive stadium and the cheering crowd. Naruko took a deep breath, her hands clutching the edges of her jacket to keep warm. "I'm ready. We've come this far, and I'm not backing down now." Sakura nodded beside her, her eyes filled with determination. "We've trained hard for this moment. Let's give it our all." As they waited, the proctors called the participants to the center of the arena. The competitors lined up, and the proctor began to announce the matchups for the final round. "The first match of the final round will be between Naruko Uzumaki and Hoshino Fuyuki," the proctor declared, his voice echoing through the stadium. Naruko's heart skipped a beat as she heard her name. She glanced over at Sasuke and Sakura, who gave her encouraging nods. Fuyuki, a tall, stern-looking ninja with a calm demeanor, stepped forward from the other side of the arena, his eyes locked on Naruko with a mixture of respect and challenge. Naruko took a deep breath as she walked towards the center of the arena, her eyes meeting Fuyuki's. The two ninjas faced each other, the crowd's cheers and shouts fading into the background as they prepared for their battle. The proctor stepped between them, raising his hand to signal the start of the match. Begin. Without hesitation, Fuyuki moved forward with a burst of speed, launching a series of quick strikes at Naruko. Naruko countered with her ice techniques, creating a barrier of ice to deflect his attacks. The two ninjas moved with incredible speed and precision, their techniques clashing in a dazzling display of skill. Naruko used her ice techniques to create sharp icicles that shot towards Fuyuki. He dodged and deflected the projectiles with swift movements, his eyes focused on finding an opening. Naruko's ice techniques created intricate patterns in the air, forming barriers and traps to control the flow of the battle. Fuyuki responded with a series of powerful jutsus. His attacks aimed at breaking through Naruko's defenses. He used his fire techniques to create a barrage of flames that roared towards her. Naruko quickly used her ice techniques to form a protective shield, blocking the flames and creating a wall of ice between them. The battle raged on, the arena filled with the sounds of clashing techniques and the cheers of the spectators. Naruko and Fuyuki fought with everything they had, their movements fluid and precise as they exchanged blows and counterattacks. Naruko's ice techniques allowed her to create a series of intricate ice structures, including ice mirrors that reflected Fuyuki's movements and ice spikes that shot towards him from different angles. Fuyuki used his agility and strength to navigate through the ice obstacles, his eyes sharp as he searched for a way to break through. As the battle continued, Naruko felt a growing sense of exhilaration. She was pushed to her limits, her ice techniques stretched to their full potential as she fought against Fuyuki's powerful attacks. Despite the intensity of the battle, she found a strange satisfaction in the challenge, her heart racing with the thrill of combat. Fuyuki's determination matched Naruko's, and he used every opportunity to press his advantage. He launched a powerful fire jutsu that enveloped the arena in a blaze of flames. Naruko responded by using her ice techniques to create a massive ice barrier that withstood the fiery assault, her eyes focused and determined. The battle reached its climax as the two ninjas faced off in a final, intense confrontation. Naruko unleashed her most powerful ice technique, summoning a massive blizzard that swept across the arena. The cold wind howled, and the ice storm engulfed Fuyuki, creating a frigid battlefield. Fuyuki fought against the storm, his movements fierce and resolute. He used his fire techniques to counter the blizzard, the flames clashing with the ice in a spectacular display of elemental forces. The arena was filled with the contrasting elements of fire and ice, a dramatic struggle between two powerful ninjas. In the midst of the storm, Naruko saw an opportunity. She concentrated her chakra and created a powerful ice spear, launching it towards Fuyuki with a burst of energy. The ice spear cut through the blizzard, aiming directly at Fuyuki. Fuyuki reacted with a final, desperate effort. He used his strongest fire jutsu to counter the ice spear, the flames roaring towards the ice. The two techniques collided in a massive explosion of energy, the force of the impact shaking the arena. When the smoke cleared, Fuyuki stood battered but standing, his eyes filled with admiration for Naruko's abilities. Naruko was exhausted, her breath coming in ragged gasps as she looked at her opponent. The proctor stepped forward, raising his hand to signal the end of the match. The winner of this match is Naruko Uzumaki. The crowd erupted into cheers and applause, their excitement for the battle evident in their enthusiastic response. Naruko and Fuyuki exchanged a nod of respect, their mutual admiration for each other's skills evident in their eyes. Naruko walked back to her team, her steps unsteady but her heart filled with pride. Sasuke and Sakura greeted her with smiles and congratulations, their faces reflecting their joy at her victory. "You were amazing out there, Naruko," Sakura exclaimed, her eyes shining with excitement. "That was a great fight." Sasuke nodded in agreement, his eyes filled with admiration. "You did well. You really showed your strength and determination." Naruko smiled, her exhaustion momentarily forgotten in the glow of their praise. "Thanks, you too. It was a tough battle, but I'm glad I could show what I've learned." As they prepared for the next match, Naruko felt a renewed sense of determination. The battles ahead would be challenging, but she was ready to face them with her team by her side. The final matches continued, each fight more intense and dramatic than the last. The arena was filled with the sounds of combat, the clash of techniques and the cheers of the crowd, creating a vibrant and exhilarating atmosphere. In one of the later matches, Sasuke faced off against a skilled ninja from another village. The battle was fierce, with Sasuke showcasing his impressive abilities and fighting with unwavering resolve. Naruko and Sakura watched from the sidelines, their eyes focused on the intense struggle taking place in the arena. Sasuke's fight was a display of his growth and skill, his techniques sharp and precise as he faced his opponent. The battle was a testament to his hard work and dedication, and Naruko felt a surge of pride as she watched him fight. As the final matches drew to a close, the arena was filled with a sense of anticipation for the announcement of the winners. The proctor stepped forward, his voice filled with authority as he addressed the crowd. The final results of the Chunin exam are as follows, he announced. The winners of the final round are Naruko Uzumaki and Sasuke Uchiha. The crowd erupted into cheers and applause, their excitement for the successful competitors evident in their enthusiastic response. Naruko and Sasuke stood together, their faces reflecting their pride and satisfaction. Sakura joined them, her eyes filled with happiness for her teammates. Congratulations, you two. We did it. Naruko looked at Sasuke, her heart swelling with a mix of pride and affection. We did it. I'm so glad we could achieve this together. Sasuke smiled, his eyes reflecting his own sense of accomplishment. Yeah, we did. We've come a long way since the beginning of the exam. As they left the arena, their hearts filled with joy and their spirits high, they knew that this was just the beginning of their journey. The Chunin exam had tested their skills and their bonds, and they were ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. Chapter 7, The Summer Festival. The sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm, golden glow over Konoha village. The bustling streets were alive with the vibrant colors and cheerful sounds of the annual summer festival. Lanterns hung from every corner, their soft light creating a picturesque scene of floating orbs and gentle shadows. Stalls lined the streets, offering everything from delicious foods to fun games and trinkets. The aroma of grilled meats, sweet treats, and savory snacks filled the air, creating a tantalizing feast for the senses. Naruko stood at the edge of the festival grounds, her eyes wide with excitement as she took in the sights and sounds around her. She wore a traditional yukata adorned with delicate snowflake patterns that seemed to shimmer in the festival's light. The soft, flowing fabric complemented her cheerful demeanor and the sparkle in her eyes. She had been looking forward to this festival for weeks, not just because of the festivities, but because she had a special plan for the evening. She took a deep breath, trying to steady her nerves as she scanned the crowd for a familiar face. Come on, Naruko. Sakura called out, her voice filled with enthusiasm. Let's go explore the festival. There's so much to see. Naruko turned to her friend, smiling as she took in Sakura's own vibrant yukata, which was adorned with blooming cherry blossoms. Sure, Sakura. Let's have some fun. As they walked through the festival grounds, the lively atmosphere enveloped them. Children ran past, clutching colorful candy floss and laughing as they played games at the various stalls. Couples strolled hand in hand, enjoying the warm evening and the festive decorations. The cheerful hum of voices and the occasional burst of laughter filled the air. They approached a food stall where a vendor was grilling skewers of meat over an open flame. The sizzle and pop of the grill mingled with the rich scent of the food. Sakura eagerly grabbed a skewer, her eyes sparkling with anticipation. Look at this, Naruko. Sakura said, holding up the skewer with a beaming smile. This looks so good. Naruko took a bite of her own skewer, savoring the savory flavor of the grilled meat. This is delicious. As they continued to explore the festival, Naruko couldn't help but glance around, hoping to spot Sasuke somewhere in the crowd. She had finally worked up the courage to ask him to join her for the evening, and she was determined to make it a memorable experience. They played a few games at the various stalls, trying their hands at winning prizes. Sakura managed to snag a cute plush toy from a crane game, and Naruko was thrilled when she won a small, intricate paper fan at a ring toss game. "I can't believe I actually won this," Naruko said, holding up the paper fan and admiring the delicate artwork on it. Sakura laughed, her eyes twinkling with joy. "You're on a winning streak tonight. Let's keep it up." As they wandered through the festival, Naruko's excitement began to wane slightly. She couldn't shake the feeling of nervous anticipation as she thought about asking Sasuke to join them. Her heart raced every time she spotted a familiar face in the crowd, only to be disappointed when it wasn't him. Suddenly, a familiar voice called out to them from behind. "Naruko, Sakura." Naruko turned around to see Sasuke standing there, his usual dark attire replaced by a simple but elegant yukata that highlighted his sharp features and calm demeanor. His presence seemed to add a touch of serenity to the lively festival atmosphere. "Sasuke," Naruko said, her voice slightly breathless as she took in his appearance. "You made it to the festival." Sasuke gave her a small, reassuring smile. "Yeah. I heard you were going to be here, so I thought I'd come by and check it out." Sakura looked between them, a knowing smile on her face. "Well, it's great that you're here. We've been having a lot of fun. Why don't you join us?" Naruko felt her cheeks flush as she nervously adjusted the fan in her hand. "Yes, Sasuke. We'd be happy to have you join us for the evening." Sasuke nodded, his eyes reflecting the soft light of the lanterns as he glanced at Naruko. "Thanks. I'd like that." The three of them wandered through the festival together, the energy of the evening drawing them into the festivities. They visited the various stalls, trying different foods and enjoying the games. Naruko's heart fluttered with a mix of excitement and nervousness as she walked beside Sasuke, her thoughts racing as she tried to think of the right moment to bring up her plan. At one point, they came across a booth where people could write their wishes on paper strips and hang them on a wishing tree. The booth was decorated with colorful paper lanterns and delicate ornaments, creating a serene and magical atmosphere. "Why don't we write down a wish and hang it on the tree?" Sakura suggested, her eyes filled with curiosity. "It could be fun." Naruko nodded eagerly. "That sounds like a great idea." They each took a strip of paper and a pen, and Naruko tried to come up with a wish that was both meaningful and sincere. She wrote down her wish with a mix of hope and uncertainty, her eyes glancing over at Sasuke as she did so. Sakura finished writing her wish and tied it to the tree, her face lit up with excitement. "I hope this one comes true." Naruko took a deep breath as she tied her own wish to the tree, her fingers trembling slightly as she did so. She glanced at Sasuke, who was writing his own wish, and hoped that her own desire for a chance to express her feelings would become a reality. They moved on from the wishing tree, continuing to enjoy the festival's activities. As the night deepened, the festival became even more enchanting, the lanterns casting a warm, gentle light over the streets and creating a magical atmosphere. Eventually, they came to a quieter corner of the festival grounds, where a small stage had been set up. A local band was performing traditional music, their melodies blending with the sounds of the festival. "This is nice," Sasuke said, his eyes watching the performers as they played their instruments. "It's a different side of the village." Naruko nodded, her eyes filled with the reflections of the lanterns. "Yeah. It's amazing how something as simple as a festival can bring everyone together." They listened to the music for a while, the soothing tunes creating a peaceful ambience. Naruko took the opportunity to enjoy the moment, her nerves momentarily forgotten as she basked in the enjoyment of the evening. As the performance came to an end, Naruko knew that it was time to take the next step. She took a deep breath, her heart pounding as she turned to Sasuke. "Sasuke," she began, her voice slightly hesitant. "There's something I wanted to ask you." Sasuke turned to her, his eyes meeting hers with a look of curiosity. "What is it, Naruko?" Naruko felt a wave of nervousness wash over her, but she pushed through it. "I was wondering if you'd like to go on a date with me. Just the two of us." Sakura looked at them with a hint of excitement, her eyes twinkling with anticipation as she watched the exchange. Sasuke blinked in surprise, his eyes widening slightly at the unexpected question. He took a moment to process her words, his expression thoughtful as he considered his response. Well, he began slowly, I didn't expect that, but I'd like to. I've enjoyed spending time with you tonight. Naruko's heart soared at his response, her cheeks flushing with happiness. Really? You'd like to go on a date? Sasuke nodded, a small smile on his lips. Yeah. I'd like that. Sakura's eyes sparkled with excitement as she looked at Naruko. See? I told you it would work out. Naruko laughed, her nerves easing as she took Sasuke's hand in hers. Thank you, Sasuke. I'm really glad. The two of them walked hand in hand through the festival grounds, the warmth of the evening and the joy of the festival creating a perfect backdrop for their date. They visited more stalls, enjoying the food and the games as they talked and laughed together. As they wandered, Naruko found herself more at ease, her earlier nervousness replaced by a sense of happiness and contentment. She was glad to have this time with Sasuke, and she wanted to make the most of it. Eventually, they reached a small, quiet spot by a serene pond. The water was calm, reflecting the glow of the lanterns and the stars above. The gentle sound of the water lapping against the shore added to the peaceful atmosphere. This is a nice spot, Sasuke said, sitting down on the grass beside the pond. It's quiet and peaceful. Naruko sat down next to him, her heart fluttering as she took in the serene surroundings. Yeah, it's perfect. They sat together in comfortable silence, enjoying the tranquility of the moment. The sounds of the festival were faint in the distance, and the gentle breeze rustled the leaves around them. Naruko took out the small, intricate paper fan she had won earlier and handed it to Sasuke. I wanted you to have this. It's a little token of the evening. Sasuke took the fan, his eyes admiring the delicate artwork on it. Thank you, Naruko. It's beautiful. Naruko smiled, her heart swelling with happiness at his reaction. I'm glad you like it. They continued to sit by the pond, their conversation flowing naturally as they talked about their hopes and dreams for the future. Naruko found herself opening up to Sasuke in a way she hadn't before, sharing her thoughts and feelings with him. As the evening drew to a close, Naruko knew that this was a moment she would cherish for a long time. The festival had been a success, and her date with Sasuke had been everything she had hoped for. Sasuke stood up, offering Naruko his hand. Shall we head back? The festival is winding down, and it's getting late. Naruko took his hand, her heart feeling light and joyful as she stood up beside him. Yes, let's go. They walked back through the festival grounds, their hands intertwined and their hearts full of happiness. The night was cool and clear, the stars above, creating a beautiful canopy over the village. As they reached the edge of the festival grounds, Naruko felt a sense of contentment wash over her. She was grateful for the evening they had shared and hopeful for what the future might bring. Thank you for tonight, Sasuke, Naruko said softly, her eyes meeting his with a sincere smile. It was wonderful. Sasuke smiled back at her, his eyes reflecting the gentle light of the lanterns. It was. I'm glad we had this time together. They said their goodbyes, each of them feeling a sense of anticipation for the future. As Naruko walked away, she felt a renewed sense of hope and excitement for the adventures that lay ahead. The summer festival had been a magical experience. And it had brought them closer together. Naruko knew that this was just the beginning of a new chapter in their lives, and she was eager to see where their journey would lead. Chapter 8, The Return of Enemies. The calm before the storm. The days following the summer festival passed in a pleasant blur of training and relaxation. Konoha village was calm, and the peace that had settled over the village was a welcome reprieve from the intense challenges of the Chunin exam. The villagers went about their daily routines with a sense of contentment, their lives momentarily free from the shadow of conflict. Naruko and Sasuke spent their days training together, their bond growing stronger with each passing day. They worked on their techniques, pushing each other to improve and striving to reach new heights in their abilities. Their training sessions were filled with laughter and camaraderie, their shared goal of becoming stronger bringing them closer together. One afternoon, as the sun hung high in the sky, Naruko and Sasuke were practicing their techniques in a secluded training area outside the village. The sound of their jutsus cutting through the air and the rhythmic thud of their movements was a testament to their dedication and progress. Naruko unleashed a flurry of ice shards towards Sasuke, her eyes focused and determined. "Watch out, Sasuke. I'm not holding back." Sasuke dodged the icy projectiles with a graceful flip, his eyes narrowing as he prepared his counterattack. "I wouldn't have it any other way." He launched a series of fireballs towards Naruko, the flames roaring as they approached her. Naruko quickly used her ice techniques to create a barrier of frost, the fireball sizzling against the icy surface. As the battle continued, the two ninjas pushed their limits, their techniques blending together in a display of skill and teamwork. The intensity of their training was matched only by the enjoyment they found in each other's company. After a particularly grueling session, they took a break, sitting on the grass and catching their breath. Naruko looked at Sasuke, her eyes filled with both admiration and affection. "You've really improved a lot, Sasuke," Naruko said, her voice filled with genuine praise. "Your fire techniques are more powerful than ever." Sasuke nodded, a hint of a smile on his lips. "Thanks, Naruko. Your ice techniques are getting stronger too. You've come a long way since the start of the exam." Their conversation was interrupted by the arrival of Sakura, who approached them with a serious expression on her face. "Hey, you two," Sakura said, her tone somber. "There's something I need to tell you." Naruko and Sasuke exchanged concerned glances. "What's going on, Sakura?" Naruko asked, her voice tinged with worry. Sakura took a deep breath, her eyes meeting theirs with a sense of urgency. "We've received some troubling news. There are reports of a group of rogue ninjas making their way towards Konoha. They're old enemies of the village, and they're rumored to be planning something big." The weight of her words settled over them, and the atmosphere grew tense. Sasuke's eyes hardened with resolve, and Naruko's expression grew serious as she considered the implications of the threat. "We need to be prepared," Sasuke said, his voice firm. "If they're coming for the village, we have to be ready to defend it." Naruko nodded, her determination shining through her concern. "Let's get back to the village and see what we can do to help. The threat looms." Back in the village, the mood was one of quiet apprehension. The news of the approaching threat had spread quickly, and the villagers went about their preparations with a sense of urgency. The Hokage's office was a hive of activity, with shinobi and strategists working together to formulate a plan of action. Naruko, Sasuke, and Sakura joined the gathered ninjas in the Hokage's office, their faces set with resolve as they awaited further instructions. The Hokage, an elderly man with a stern yet kind demeanor, addressed them with a serious expression. "We have confirmed that the rogue ninjas are led by a notorious criminal organization known as the Akatsuki," the Hokage said, his voice grave. "Their leader, Uchiha Itachi, was once a member of our village, but left under mysterious circumstances. They are a dangerous group with formidable abilities, and we must be prepared for their attack." Naruko's eyes widened at the mention of Uchiha Itachi. She had heard of him during her training, but she had never imagined she would face him in battle. Her heart pounded with a mix of fear and determination. "Do we know when they will arrive?" Sasuke asked, his voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. The Hokage shook his head. "We don't have an exact timeline, but we estimate that they will arrive within the next few days. We need to fortify our defenses and prepare for the worst." The team was assigned specific tasks to help with the village's preparations. Naruko and Sakura were tasked with organizing the villagers and ensuring that everyone was aware of the potential threat. Sasuke, with his combat skills and strategic mind, was assigned to work with the other ninjas to strengthen the village's defenses. As they went about their tasks, Naruko found herself reflecting on the challenges they faced. The weight of the impending battle hung over her, and she couldn't shake the feeling of unease that settled in her chest. Sakura noticed Naruko's troubled expression and walked beside her. "Are you okay, Naruko?" Naruko looked at Sakura, her eyes filled with a mixture of worry and determination. I'm just thinking about the upcoming battle. It's going to be a tough fight, and I'm worried about what might happen. Sakura placed a reassuring hand on Naruko's shoulder. We'll face it together. We've been through a lot already, and we've always come out stronger on the other side. Naruko managed a small smile at Sakura's words. You're right. We'll get through this. The arrival of the Akatsuki. The days passed in a whirlwind of activity as the village prepared for the impending attack. Fortifications were strengthened, and strategic plans were put into place. The atmosphere in Konoha was tense but determined, as everyone rallied together to protect their home. On the eve of the anticipated attack, the villagers gathered in the main square, their faces illuminated by the flickering light of torches. The Hokage addressed them with a rallying speech, his words a call to unity and strength. We face a great danger, the Hokage said, his voice carrying across the gathered crowd. But we are Konoha, and we will stand together against this threat. We have faced hardships before, and we will face this one with courage and resolve. The crowd responded with a unified cheer, their voices a chorus of support and determination. Naruko, Sasuke, and Sakura stood together, their hearts steeled for the battle that lay ahead. As night fell, the village was quiet except for the occasional murmur of conversation and the distant sounds of preparation. The stars above were obscured by a layer of dark clouds, adding to the sense of foreboding that hung over the village. Suddenly, a chill ran through the air, and a sense of darkness seemed to envelop the village. The ground trembled slightly as the Akatsuki made their approach, their ominous presence felt even before they arrived. A shadowy figure emerged from the darkness, his eyes glowing with a menacing intensity. It was Uchiha Itachi, the leader of the Akatsuki, accompanied by several of his formidable companions. His cloak billowed around him, and his eyes were filled with a cold, calculating focus. We've arrived, as promised, Itachi said, his voice calm and composed. Prepare yourselves, Konoha. The sight of the Akatsuki members was enough to send a shiver down the spines of the villagers. They stood in a formation, their powerful presence a clear indication of the strength they possessed. Naruko, Sasuke, and Sakura took their positions at the front lines, their eyes locked on the enemy as they prepared for the battle that was about to begin. The tension in the air was palpable, and the anticipation of the fight to come filled them with a mix of fear and determination. As the Akatsuki prepared to launch their attack, the villagers braced themselves for the conflict that would determine the fate of Konoha. The battle was about to begin, and everyone knew that this fight would be one of their greatest challenges yet. The first clash. The clash began with a sudden burst of energy as the Akatsuki members charged forward. The battle was fierce and chaotic, the air filled with the sounds of combat and the clash of techniques. Naruko and Sasuke moved with precision and skill, their training coming to fruition as they faced their enemies head-on. Naruko focused on using her ice techniques to create barriers and traps, her icy creations forming a defensive line against the incoming attacks. She summoned a blizzard to slow down the Akatsuki members, her ice shards cutting through the air and creating a chilling wind that battered the enemy. Sasuke fought beside her, his fire techniques a blazing counterpoint to her ice. He unleashed a series of powerful fireballs and explosive jutsus, his attacks designed to break through the defenses of their enemies. His movements were fluid and precise, his eyes sharp as he assessed the battlefield. Sakura fought alongside them, her strength and agility proving to be invaluable in the heat of battle. She used her powerful punches and kicks to take down enemies, her skills honed through years of training and experience. The Akatsuki members were formidable opponents, each one bringing a unique set of abilities to the fight. Their techniques were varied and powerful, and they worked together with a coordinated strategy that tested the resolve of Konoha's defenders. Despite the intensity of the battle, there were moments of camaraderie and mutual support. Naruko and Sasuke exchanged quick glances and nods, their unspoken understanding guiding their movements. Sakura fought with fierce determination, her actions a testament to her commitment to the village and her friends. As the battle raged on, Naruko and Sasuke found themselves facing one of the Akatsuki members directly. The enemy was a tall figure with a dark cloak and a mask that concealed his face, his eyes glowing with a dangerous energy. "We meet again," the Akatsuki member said, his voice a low, menacing growl. "You've grown stronger since our last encounter." Naruko stood her ground, her eyes steely with resolve. "We're ready for you. We'll protect the village at all costs." The fight began with a flurry of attacks and counterattacks, the two sides clashing with a fury that matched the storm brewing overhead. The battle was fierce, each side pushing their abilities to the limit as they fought for dominance. A moment of doubt. Amidst the chaos of the battle, there were moments of doubt and fear. Naruko found herself overwhelmed by the sheer power of the Akatsuki members, their abilities pushing her to her limits. She struggled to keep up with the relentless attacks, her confidence wavering as she fought to protect the village. Sasuke noticed her struggle and moved to her side, his presence a reassuring force amidst the turmoil. "Stay focused, Naruko. We can't let them break through our defenses." Naruko took a deep breath, her eyes meeting Sasuke's with a mixture of gratitude and determination. "You're right. We have to hold the line." With renewed resolve, Naruko pushed through her doubts and continued to fight with everything she had. She used her ice techniques to create barriers and traps, her efforts helping to turn the tide of the battle. Sasuke fought beside her, his fire techniques a blazing force that broke through the Akatsuki's defenses. His attacks were relentless and powerful, his determination to protect the village evident in every strike. Despite their efforts, the battle was far from over. The Akatsuki members continued to press their attack, their strength and skill a constant challenge for Konoha's defenders. The fight was a test of endurance and willpower, and both sides were pushed to their limits. The turning point. The battle continued through the night, the conflict a grueling test of strength and resolve. The villagers fought with bravery and determination, their efforts a testament to their commitment to protecting their home. As the first light of dawn began to break through the clouds, the tide of the battle began to shift. The Akatsuki members, though powerful, were not invincible, and the combined efforts of Konoha's defenders began to make a difference. Naruko and Sasuke fought with renewed vigor, their techniques and teamwork proving to be effective against their enemies. The Akatsuki members were pushed back, their advance halted by the strength and determination of the village's defenders. In a pivotal moment, Naruko unleashed her most powerful ice technique, a massive storm of ice and snow that engulfed the battlefield. The blizzard swept over the Akatsuki members, their movements slowed by the intense cold and their defenses battered by the icy storm. Sasuke took advantage of the opportunity, launching a series of powerful fireballs that struck the Akatsuki members with devastating force. The combination of ice and fire created a powerful offensive, pushing the enemies back and gaining ground in the battle. The Akatsuki members began to retreat, their plans thwarted by the determined resistance of Konoha's defenders. The battle was not yet won, but the tide had turned, and the village's efforts were beginning to bear fruit. A brief respite. As the Akatsuki members fell back, the battle began to wind down. The defenders of Konoha took a moment to catch their breath, their bodies weary from the intense combat. The first light of dawn illuminated the battlefield, casting a soft glow over the aftermath of the fight. Naruko, Sasuke, and Sakura stood together, their faces showing the exhaustion and relief of the moment. They looked around at the battlefield, the signs of the fierce conflict evident in the scorched earth and the fallen enemies. "That was intense," Sakura said, her voice tired but relieved. "We managed to push them back." Naruko nodded, her eyes scanning the battlefield. "Yeah, but we still have to be on guard. They might come back." Sasuke looked at them, his eyes filled with a mix of determination and exhaustion. "We need to regroup and prepare for whatever comes next. This fight isn't over yet." The villagers began to emerge from their homes, their faces a mixture of relief and concern. They gathered around the defenders, offering thanks and support for their efforts. The Hokage approached them, his expression reflecting both the weight of the battle and the hope for the future. "You did well, all of you. The village is safe for now, but we must remain vigilant." Naruko and her friends nodded, their resolve strengthened by the support of the Hokage and the villagers. They knew that the fight was far from over, and they were prepared to face whatever challenges lay ahead. As the sun rose higher in the sky, the villagers began the task of rebuilding and recovering from the battle. The sense of unity and determination that had carried them through the fight remained strong, and they prepared for the future with a renewed sense of hope. Chapter 9, Icy Confession. The Aftermath of Battle. The battle with the Akatsuki had left its mark on Konoha village. Though the threat had been repelled, the village was scarred by the conflict. As dawn broke over the village, the sun's light revealed the damage wrought by the fierce struggle. Smoke still rose from smoldering debris, and the once vibrant streets were now littered with the remnants of battle. Naruko, Sasuke, and Sakura stood amidst the wreckage, their faces a mixture of exhaustion and relief. They had fought bravely, and their efforts had safeguarded the village, but the cost of the battle was evident in the broken buildings and weary faces of the villagers. Naruko looked around at the damage, her heart heavy with the weight of the aftermath. "We've got a lot of work to do," she said softly, her eyes scanning the scene. Sasuke nodded, his expression somber as he surveyed the damage. "We do. But we can't let it get us down. We need to help where we can and start rebuilding." Sakura glanced at them, her eyes showing her determination to support their efforts. "Let's get to work. There's no time to waste." The three friends set to work, helping the villagers clear debris and repair damaged buildings. Despite their fatigue, they worked diligently, their shared goal of restoring Konoha giving them the strength to continue. As they worked, the villagers approached them, offering their thanks and expressing their gratitude for their bravery. The sense of unity and support from the community was a source of comfort and encouragement for Naruko and her friends. Hours later, as the sun began to set and the village's recovery efforts continued, Naruko, Sasuke, and Sakura took a brief break. They sat together on the steps of a repaired building, their bodies tired but their spirits buoyed by the progress they had made. Naruko looked at Sasuke, her heart filled with a mixture of hope and anxiety. "Sasuke, there's something I've been meaning to talk to you about." Sasuke glanced at her, his eyes showing curiosity. "What is it, Naruko?" Naruko took a deep breath, her mind racing as she struggled to find the right words. "It's about what happened during the battle. I've been thinking a lot about us, and I wanted to tell you something." Sakura noticed the seriousness of the moment and gave them a supportive smile. "I'll give you two some space. I'll be nearby if you need me." With that, Sakura stood up and walked a short distance away, leaving Naruko and Sasuke alone on the steps. The soft glow of the setting sun cast a warm light over them, creating a peaceful atmosphere despite the destruction around them. The confession. Naruko stared at the ground, her heart pounding as she struggled to put her feelings into words. She had been waiting for the right moment, and now, with the weight of the battle still fresh in her mind, she knew it was time to be honest with Sasuke. "Sasuke," she began, her voice trembling slightly, "I need to tell you something important. Ever since we started training together, I've had feelings for you." She looked up at him, her eyes filled with vulnerability. "I've been trying to find the right way to tell you, but I can't keep it inside anymore. I like you, Sasuke. I really, really like you." Sasuke was taken aback by her confession, his eyes widening in surprise. He had sensed her feelings, but had been unsure of how to address them. Seeing her so open and honest made him realize the depth of her emotions. "I didn't know you felt that way," Sasuke said, his voice gentle as he tried to process her words. "I've always valued our friendship, but I wasn't sure how to respond to your feelings." Naruko's heart sank at his words, her anxiety creeping in as she feared the worst. "I understand if you don't feel the same way. I just needed you to know how I feel." Sasuke looked at her, his expression thoughtful. He took a deep breath, his eyes meeting hers with a sincerity that made her heart race. "I do appreciate your honesty, Naruko. And I want you to know that I have been thinking about you too. I just didn't know how to express it." Naruko's eyes widened, a glimmer of hope shining through her fear. "Really? You have?" Sasuke nodded, a small smile touching his lips. Yes. I've been thinking about how much you mean to me, and I realize now that my feelings for you have grown stronger over time. Naruko's face lit up with joy at his words. So, what does that mean for us? Sasuke reached out and gently took her hand in his touch warm and reassuring. It means that I want to explore where these feelings might lead us. I'm willing to give us a chance. Naruko's heart soared at his response, her eyes shining with happiness. I'd like that. I really would. They sat together in silence for a moment, their hands entwined and their hearts full of hope for the future. The bond between them had been forged through shared experiences and battles, and now, it was time for them to explore a new chapter in their relationship. The ice sculpture. As the days passed, Naruko and Sasuke's relationship grew stronger. They spent time together outside of training, sharing their thoughts and dreams, and enjoying each other's company. Their feelings for each other deepened, and they began to build a foundation for a future together. One evening, as the sun set and the village settled into a peaceful calm, Naruko decided it was time to make a special gesture for Sasuke. She had been working on a project in secret, and now, with the help of her ice techniques, she was ready to reveal it. Naruko walked to a quiet spot near the village's main square, where she had set up a small ice sculpture she had been working on. The sculpture was a delicate and intricate creation, a representation of a heart encased in ice, with beautiful frost patterns adorning its surface. As Sasuke approached, he was struck by the beauty of the sculpture. Naruko, this is amazing. How did you create something so beautiful? Naruko smiled, her cheeks tinged with a hint of pink. It's a gift for you. I wanted to show you how much you mean to me, and I thought this would be a special way to do it. Sasuke looked at the sculpture, his eyes filled with appreciation. Thank you, Naruko. It's a wonderful gift. Naruko took a deep breath, her heart pounding as she prepared for the next part of her plan. There's something I want to say to you, Sasuke. Something I haven't said yet. Sasuke looked at her, his expression encouraging. What is it? Naruko took a step closer, her eyes meeting his with a mixture of excitement and nervousness. I want to tell you that I love you. I've loved you for a long time, and I hope that we can build a future together. Sasuke's eyes softened as he listened to her words. He reached out and gently cupped her face in his hands, his touch tender and reassuring. Naruko, I love you too. I've been waiting for the right moment to tell you, and now feels like the perfect time. Naruko's heart leapt at his confession, her eyes shining with tears of joy. I'm so happy to hear that, Sasuke. I've been dreaming of this moment for so long. They shared a tender kiss, their emotions flowing freely as they embraced each other. The world around them seemed to fade away, leaving only the two of them and the love they had for each other. The celebration of love. After their heartfelt exchange, Naruko and Sasuke walked together through the village, their hands entwined and their hearts full of joy. They took in the sights of Konoha, their steps light and carefree as they enjoyed each other's company. They stopped by the village's main square, where the remnants of the summer festival still lingered. The colorful lanterns and decorations created a festive atmosphere, and the memories of their previous date at the festival made the moment even more special. Naruko looked at Sasuke, her eyes filled with happiness. Do you remember our first date here? It feels like it was just yesterday. Sasuke smiled, his eyes reflecting the warmth of the lanterns. I do. It was a special evening, and tonight feels even more special. They wandered through the square, their conversation flowing naturally as they talked about their hopes and dreams for the future. They stopped at a stall selling sweet treats, and Naruko picked out a variety of delicious snacks for them to share. As they enjoyed the treats, they laughed and joked, their bond growing stronger with each passing moment. The joy of being together was evident in their smiles and the way they looked at each other. They eventually found a quiet spot by a small pond, the water reflecting the light of the lanterns and creating a serene and romantic atmosphere. They sat together on the grass, their hands still clasped as they watched the reflections in the water. This is a perfect ending to a wonderful day, Naruko said softly, her eyes sparkling with contentment. Sasuke nodded, his gaze fixed on her with affection. It is. I'm grateful for this moment and for the future we have ahead of us. They spent the rest of the evening in each other's company, their hearts full of love and hope for the future. The bond they had forged through their experiences and battles had led them to this moment, and they were ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead together. A new beginning. As the night deepened and the stars appeared in the sky, Naruko and Sasuke walked back to the village, their hands intertwined and their hearts united. The future was uncertain, but they faced it with a sense of hope and optimism. They knew that their journey was far from over, but they were prepared to face it together. Their love for each other had grown stronger through their shared experiences. And they looked forward to the adventures and challenges that awaited them. Naruko and Sasuke's relationship was a testament to the strength of their bond and their commitment to each other. Their love had been tested by battles and hardships, but it had emerged stronger and more resilient. As they reached the village, they saw the people working to rebuild and recover from the recent battle. The sense of unity and determination in the community was a reminder of the strength of Konoha and the hope for a brighter future. Naruko and Sasuke stood together, their hearts filled with love and their spirits lifted by the support of the village. They knew that their journey was just beginning, and they were ready to face the future with courage and hope. Chapter 10, I See Future. A new beginning. The sun rose over the village of Konoha, its golden rays warming the land and signaling the start of a new day. The aftermath of the battle with the Akatsuki was still visible in the scars of the village, but hope had returned. Konoha was healing, and with it, the lives of those who called it home. In the midst of this renewal, Naruko and Sasuke stood together, their hands intertwined as they gazed at the familiar landscape of their village. The streets bustled with activity as villagers worked to rebuild and recover, their faces reflecting the strength and resilience that had seen them through the recent hardships. Naruko looked up at Sasuke, her eyes shining with a mixture of excitement and nervous anticipation. Sasuke, there's something I've been thinking about. I wanted to talk to you about our future. Sasuke turned to her, his expression thoughtful and attentive. What's on your mind, Naruko? Taking a deep breath, Naruko gathered her thoughts, her heart pounding with both eagerness and apprehension. Well, we've been working together for a while now, and I think it's time for us to take on a new challenge. Something that will help us grow both as shinobi and as a couple. Sasuke's eyes narrowed slightly, intrigued by her suggestion. What kind of challenge are you thinking about? Naruko's face brightened as she spoke, her excitement evident. I was thinking that maybe we could embark on a mission outside the village. Something that will let us explore new lands, face new challenges, and learn more about ourselves and each other. Sasuke's eyes met hers, filled with warmth and curiosity. That sounds like a great idea. It's been a while since we had a real adventure, and I think it would be good for us to take on something new. Naruko's smile widened at his response. I'm glad you think so. I already talked to the Hokage about it, and he's given us the freedom to choose a mission for ourselves. We just need to decide what we want to do. With that, they made their way to the Hokage's office, the scroll containing a list of potential missions and destinations in hand. The Hokage greeted them with a warm smile as they entered. So, you've come to discuss your next adventure? The Hokage said, his eyes twinkling with approval. Naruko nodded enthusiastically. Yes, we want to take on a mission that will let us explore new places and face new challenges. We've looked over the options, and we're excited about the possibilities. The Hokage handed them the scroll, and they unfurled it to reveal a list of intriguing missions and destinations. One mission in particular caught their eye, a journey to a remote and mysterious region known for its ancient ruins and hidden secrets. This one looks perfect, Naruko said, pointing to the mission description. It involves exploring uncharted territory and uncovering the mysteries of an ancient civilization. Sasuke glanced at the description, nodding in agreement. It does seem like a challenging and rewarding mission. Let's go with this one. The Hokage's eyes gleamed with approval. Very well. I will prepare the necessary arrangements for your departure. May your journey be filled with success and discovery. Preparing for the journey. With the Hokage's blessing, Naruko and Sasuke set about preparing for their journey. They gathered supplies, made arrangements for their departure, and took the time to say goodbye to their friends and family. As they prepared, they were visited by Sakura, who approached them with a mixture of sadness and pride. "I'm going to miss you both," Sakura said, her eyes shining with unshed tears. "It feels like we've been through so much together." Naruko hugged her friend tightly, her heart aching at the thought of leaving. "We'll miss you too, Sakura. But we'll be back with stories to tell and new experiences to share." Sakura smiled through her tears, her face reflecting her happiness for her friends. "I know you'll do great out there. Just promise me you'll be careful." Sasuke gave her a reassuring nod. "We will. Thank you for everything, Sakura." With heartfelt goodbyes and well wishes, Naruko and Sasuke set out on their journey, ready to embrace the challenges and adventures that awaited them. The journey begins. The first leg of their journey took them through the lush forests and rolling hills that surrounded Konoha. The beauty of the natural landscape was a stark contrast to the hardships they had faced, and it filled them with a sense of peace and excitement. As they walked, they talked about their hopes for the future and shared stories from their past. Their conversations were filled with laughter and reflection, deepening their bond as they prepared for the challenges ahead. Naruko looked at Sasuke, her eyes filled with curiosity. "What are your dreams for the future, Sasuke?" Sasuke's eyes grew distant as he considered his response. "I want to protect those I care about and find a way to bring peace to the world. It's a difficult goal, but it's one I'm committed to achieving." Naruko nodded, her admiration evident. "That's a noble dream. I hope that through our adventures, we can find ways to contribute to that goal." Sasuke smiled at her, his gaze tender. "I believe we can accomplish great things together. We've already made so much progress, and I'm excited to see where this journey will take us." Their days were filled with the thrill of exploration and the joy of discovering new places. They faced various obstacles along the way, from treacherous terrain to unpredictable weather, but each challenge only served to strengthen their partnership. Arriving at the ancient ruins. After several days of travel, they finally reached the ancient ruins. The site was a vast and sprawling complex of crumbling structures and overgrown vegetation, a testament to a bygone era. Naruko and Sasuke stood at the entrance of the ruins, their eyes taking in the grandeur and mystery of the site. The ancient stones and forgotten paths beckoned them to explore the secrets hidden within. "This place is incredible," Naruko said, her eyes wide with wonder. "I can't wait to see what we'll find here." Sasuke nodded, his expression focused. "We need to be cautious. There may be dangers hidden within these ruins." They ventured into the ruins, their steps echoing through the empty halls and chambers. The air was filled with the scent of old stone and the rustling of leaves, creating an atmosphere that was both eerie and enchanting. As they explored, they discovered ancient artifacts and remnants of the past. They found old maps, intricate carvings, and forgotten scrolls that spoke of the civilization that had once thrived here. The trials of the ruins. Their exploration led them to a hidden chamber, guarded by a powerful spirit. The guardian was a formidable presence, a towering figure made of stone and energy, its eyes glowing with ancient power. "Who dares to enter the sacred chamber of the ancients?" The guardian's voice reverberated through the chamber. Naruko and Sasuke stepped forward, their expressions resolute. "We are Naruko and Sasuke, shinobi of Konoha. We seek to uncover the secrets of these ruins and learn from the past." The guardian studied them with a discerning gaze. "To seek knowledge is a noble quest, but it is not without its trials. You must prove yourselves worthy to access the secrets within." Naruko and Sasuke exchanged determined glances. "We are ready," Sasuke said firmly. The guardian led them through a series of tests designed to challenge their strength, wisdom, and courage. The first test was a battle against formidable enemies that emerged from the shadows of the chamber. Naruko and Sasuke fought side by side, their skills and strategies perfectly coordinated as they overcame the challenge. The second test was a complex puzzle that required them to solve riddles and decipher clues. Working together, they navigated the intricacies of the puzzle, their minds sharp and focused as they found the solutions. The final test was a trial of trust and courage. They had to traverse a dangerous and dark path, relying on each other's instincts and support to guide them through the perilous journey. As they completed each test, the guardian observed them with a sense of approval. "You have proven yourselves worthy of the knowledge within these ruins." Uncovering the secrets. With the trials behind them, the guardian revealed the secrets of the chamber. The chamber contained ancient texts and scrolls that detailed the history and knowledge of the lost civilization. Naruko and Sasuke studied the texts, absorbing the lessons and insights they offered. The text spoke of the achievements and failures of the ancient people, their struggles and triumphs, and their quest for a better future. Through their studies, they learned valuable lessons about perseverance, unity, and the importance of learning from the past to shape the future. The knowledge they gained from the ruins provided them with a deeper understanding of their own goals and aspirations. Returning to Konoha. After their exploration, Naruko and Sasuke returned to Konoha, their hearts and minds enriched by their experiences. They were greeted with joy by their friends and family, who were eager to hear about their adventure. Naruko and Sasuke shared their stories and discoveries, their faces alight with excitement as they recounted their journey. The villagers listened with rapt attention, their faces reflecting admiration and pride. As they spoke, Naruko and Sasuke realized how much they had grown through their adventure. They had faced challenges, learned from the past, and strengthened their bond as a couple. Reflecting on the journey. As they sat together, reflecting on their adventure, Naruko and Sasuke talked about their thoughts and feelings. They discussed the lessons they had learned and the future they hoped to build together. Naruko looked at Sasuke, her eyes filled with love. "This journey has been amazing. I'm so grateful we did it together." Sasuke took her hand, his gaze sincere. "I am too. We've grown so much, both as shinobi and as a couple. I'm excited for what lies ahead." They spent the evening together, their hearts full of hope and joy as they looked forward to the future. They knew that their journey was far from over, but they were ready to face it together. Looking ahead. As they prepared for their next adventure, Naruko and Sasuke knew they had a strong foundation for the future. Their relationship had been tested and strengthened, and they were ready to embrace new challenges. They looked forward to exploring new lands, meeting new people, and continuing their journey as a couple. Their love and bond would guide them through the adventures that awaited them. The future beckons. With the promise of new adventures on the horizon, Naruko and Sasuke stood together, ready to face whatever came their way. Their story was one of growth, discovery, and love, and they were eager to see where their path would lead. As they looked to the future, they were filled with hope and anticipation for the adventures to come. Their journey was just beginning, and they were excited to continue it together.